Sorry guys, no, I'm a little bit late. I was trying to mess with some stuff on the technical side of the broadcast, so do apologize. Didn't work out, but wanted to try something. But anyways, it is 4:13 Eastern, 3:13 Central. This is Corey here with 0 Meter Chasers. Going to give you guys an update on the winter storm that we have moving in this afternoon. So this is the newest winter storm warning here from the National Weather Service. They just updated the latest headlines. Pretty much everything the same. South of the Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways, we're still expected to see snow and sleet accumulations 4 to 8 inches. The ice amounts have been increased. The National Weather Service is now expecting up to 3/4 of an inch of ice possible south of the Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways. So this is something we talked about earlier in the update we had earlier today. North of the parkways, going to be mainly snow, heavy at times. Snow totals north of the Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways anywhere between 10 to 15 inches. Localized higher amounts of snow and sleet is possible. Again, some of the impacts: power outages and tree damage likely due to the ice. Travel could be nearly impossible. So for here in the Greene and Taylor County areas, nothing's changed. We're still looking at the same forecast that we had earlier. The only difference is we have increased that ice amount up to, actually this is the same graphic, so I did not update it, but the ice amount on this graphic is 1/2 an inch up to 3/4 of an inch on this forecast here. Okay, so what we're going to do here real quickly is look at the radar. It will give you guys a radar update, and this is currently what's going on. So snow still ongoing here across much of central Kentucky. We'll put this radar into motion. The snow is going to continue for the next several hours. A lot of locations out there already approaching a couple inches of snowfall. Probably going to see at least, I'd say 2 to 3 more before we change over to sleet. So that should get everybody close to 5 inches before it's all said and done. And again, this is mainly due to the fact that that warmer air is in fact moving a little bit more north than we thought. It's going to change things over a little bit quicker, and will be primarily ice going into Sunday morning. So definitely not what we want to hear. But we'll do a zoom out on the radar. We still have, we're going to look over here at Western Kentucky. Yeah, so that radar is filling in over here in Western Kentucky. Earlier, we could see, if you look right here in this neck of the woods, hang on. This neck of the woods right here, we had a little bit of a dry slot, but these last few updates, it shows that kind of filling in. So that's something I was watching too, because anytime you get a dry slot with these winter storms, that's when you can decrease amounts even more. We've seen it happen 100 times in these winter storm setups. But that looks to be filling in, so that's some good news. That will continue to move up into central Kentucky. So still expecting to see snowfall continue here over the next several hours before we gradually transition over to some sleet. So we're going to get the latest information here from let me fix this here. From the latest data here from Pivotal Weather. So what we're going to start with here, let me make sure this is the latest update here. This is the HRRR model. This is for the next 11 hours. This is the newest update. Just came in. Snow continuing all the way till 6 o'clock. That's another 3 hours. Again, this is central time that I'm talking here. So another 3 hours of snowfall. You look at the radar here. The sleet is right around the Kentucky-Tennessee line, okay? This is around 6 o'clock. You get south of that towards the Nashville-Cookeville area. That's where you have your freezing rain zone. You get into 7 o'clock, that sleet zone begins to move north just a little bit more. So pretty much everybody that's north of the Cumberland Parkway, which is basically from Bowling Green over to Glasgow, Edmonton, over to Columbia, over to Somerset. If you live north of those areas, you're going to stay snow all the way through 7 o'clock, probably closer to 8 o'clock before we get that transition over to some sleet. In fact, right there it is. It's 8 o'clock. So we still have about 5 more hours of snowfall here in the Greene-Taylor County area and points to the north before that transition starts to come back in. We get closer to 9 p.m. That freezing rain zone is right along the Cumberland at 9 p.m. So this ice, according to the HRRR model, is moving in even sooner than what we originally anticipated. That's not good. That's not good at all. Snow primarily staying to the north. You look and see right there along the Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways, they stay in all snow all the way up until, say, 11 p.m. There's that sleet zone. This is where the battleground really starts to take into effect. This is 11 p.m. going on into midnight. That sleet line is right along the Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways. If you're south of that, you've primarily changed over to freezing rain. If you live closer to the parkways, you're in that sleet zone. North of the parkways is all snow. This is 11 p.m. Central Time. And that's kind of where that battleground sets up. The battleground continues back and forth there, and that's probably going to go all the way into Sunday. Again, this only goes out for 11 hours. Sleet starts to fight back a little bit. Colder air starts to fight back just a little bit, 2 a.m. But nonetheless, the ice moving in a lot quicker is not a good thing. So this is 2 a.m. on Sunday. Let me go back to the previous update so I can run through the rest of this simulation with you. So here we are, 2 a.m. on Sunday. Pretty much the same thing that it was showing. Sleet line right along the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways, and that's kind of where that sleet zone parks itself. South of that's pretty much all freezing rain. North of that is all snow. This is 6 a.m. on Sunday, 8 a.m. on Sunday, 9 a.m. Again, all of this is freezing rain south of the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways. We get into, say, 11 a.m. on Sunday. That colder air starts to push to the south just a little bit more. You see this sleet line start to push its way back to the south slowly but surely. We finally get areas south of the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkway changing over to at least a little bit of snow. And then we have one more. This would probably be a deformation band Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. That would probably give an additional 1 to 2 inches of snow across all of Kentucky as this winter storm moves out. Still has some snow streaks that kind of pops up at times. This is late Sunday night. Depending on how heavy those are, could get another inch out of that as well. So even after the ice on Sunday, we're going to transition back to some snow. Probably have a good chance of an additional, say, 1 to 2 inches of snow on the back side of this system. So let's look at the RAP model. Again, this is another short-term model that we use in these types of setups. I guess I should show you, first of all, what the HRRR model is predicting on the ice front here real quickly. So this is the newest ice accumulation map here. It paints a pretty ugly picture south of the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways, showing pretty much everybody south of the parkways potentially getting up to 3/4 of an inch, especially from a Bowling Green to, say, Richmond line and to the south. So that would include the majority of Greene, Taylor, all of Adair, Barron, Metcalf, the Lake Cumberland area, the Bowling Green area, getting potentially up to 3/4 of an inch of ice. That's definitely not going to be a big deal. That's not going to be good at all. And then snowfall. Again, this is additional snowfall on top of what's already fallen out there. Additional snowfall around 4 inches. Now, I know a lot of the area has gotten 1 to 2 inches already, but the HRRR is predicting an additional 4 inches on top of that. That would give you somewhere between, say, 5 to 7 inches, which is exactly what our forecast was this morning. So, again, probably going to see 3 more inches today, and then you'll see a couple inches on the back side of this storm once it exits on Sunday. So that's total accumulation from the storm once it leaves Monday morning. The RAP model, again, this is another short-term model that we look at here. It specializes in short-term weather, and again, that's what we're at. This is the ice, and again, let me go to Well, we're on the latest here. Yeah, this is the latest update in the next 21 hours. Now, I know it says an inch. It's not gonna. We're not gonna have an inch of ice, or at least I hope not. Uh, the mapping on this is a little bit different, but you can probably take at least a quarter of this off. Which, if it's predicting an inch, that would get you down to 3/4 of an inch. But pretty much anything south of the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways is fair game for over a quarter inch, all the way up to 3/4 of an inch of ice. Okay. Snowfall on the RAP model, pretty much the same thing. Right along the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways to the north is your higher snowfalls, and then the smaller amounts is south of that. So that, I know we've mentioned the parkways 1,000 times this week, but the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways is pretty much going to be that zone. North of that, heavy snow. South of that, some snow, big ice storm. Okay. I don't think I have any updates on the blend. I do, actually. So here's the newest National Weather Service blend. This is kind of this is the models that the National Weather Service trusts the most. I don't know exactly what models are in here or any of that, but it averages it all together. And again, same scenario. North of the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways, an additional 7+ inches. You get up to the Ohio River, you get closer to a foot. South of that, additional. This is additional. You cannot account on what's already fallen out there. A lot of people's already got 1 to 2 inches of snow already. So you add that 1 to 2 on top of the 4 to 6 that the blend is anticipating for additional accumulation. Okay, and then here is the ice, and the ice continues to go up here. The average model is getting pretty close to half an inch from the Bowling Green area over to Glasgow, down to Scottsville, Edmonton, Mumfortville, Greensburg, Campbellsville, even up to Lebanon, Liberty, Columbia, the Lake Cumberland region. I know the Lake Cumberland region has lesser amounts down here, but I still think the Lake Cumberland region could be ground zero as far as getting closer to that 3/4 inch mark for total snowfall accumulation. So, big deal, and I showed this earlier, but I want to show it again here. Ice impacts. If you get a 1/4 inch or less, it's basically just a nuisance. This is from Fox Weather. This is not my graphic. I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due. But a 1/4 inch or less, we're looking at minor power outages, light icing on trees, coated windshields. Not a big deal for a 1/4 inch or less. You get into the 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch disruptive. That's where you're going to get your numerous power outages, some tree damage. Roads become very slick. You get anything over a 1/2 inch, that's where you get your crippling ice storm, widespread power outages, trees begin to fall, dangerous travel. So with the latest forecast, we're showing, pretty much over a 1/2 inch for areas close to the Cumberland Parkway, the Lake Cumberland area, and areas just to the south of the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkway. Not directly south, but say you go south maybe 15 miles from the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkway. I think that's the probabilities are increasing for 1/2 inch of ice. But specifically from a Bowling Green to Richmond line and points to the south, I think getting a 1/2 inch of ice is a really good bet right now, potentially up to 3/4 of an inch. So it's not good. It's not what we want to see. And the trends are trending into a very dangerous direction. Let me look to see. I know there was something else I was going to look at. I don't think I have anything else right now. So I'm going to pull up the ice map one more again. This hasn't been updated, but this is the area that I'm talking about. Not directly on the West Kentucky Bluegrass Parkways, but just a little bit to the south. Like I said, basically from your Bowling Green to Richmond line, you see it right there, Bowling Green to Richmond line, right along that red, and points to the south and east. That's going to be your best chance to see ice amounts potentially up to, for sure, 1/2 inch, getting closer to 3/4 of an inch. We'll see what the National Weather Service does when they update this map. They should update it this afternoon. If they don't, I'll update it myself. We'll do another live update. Let's go ahead and plan it. We're going to plan it for 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern. So about an hour and a half. So that's already planned. The next live video is gonna be at 5 Central, 6 Eastern. Hopefully we have an updated map from the National Weather Service. If we don't, I will probably use this same map, but I'm going to circle the areas I think that has the best potential to see 3/4 of an inch of ice. So, with that being said, I'm going to answer a few questions. And you guys just let me know if you got any questions. I'll be happy to explain it to you. 3/4 of an inch of ice, Victoria. It's just 3/4 of an inch. So 75% of an inch. And again, one more time on the explanation. Anything over a half an inch is a crippling ice storm. Widespread power outages, trees begin to fall, extremely dangerous travel. Lee wants to know, how long do I think this is going to be on the ground and for the foreseeable future? I think there's a realistic chance we don't go above freezing for another 2 weeks. I hate to say that, but I mean it. I think there's a realistic chance we do not go above freezing for 2 weeks. Jordan, Richmond's going to be in that same boat there. Potentially up to a half inch of ice. No, Christopher. The National Weather Service is not going to issue an ice storm warning because we're expected to see snow accumulation as well. If it was strictly just ice and we wasn't expected to see no snow or sleet, yes, it would be an ice storm warning. But we're seeing several precipitation types. Your snow, your sleet, your freezing rain is classified as a winter storm warning. Mike, Lebanon is close. I'd say Lebanon's probably going to be closer, probably between Lebanon and Kentucky, between the 1/4 inch up to a half inch rain. Sorry. A 1/4 inch up to a half inch of the freezing rain. No, Tim, none of this is going to melt. Even with the temperature approaching freezing, unless it goes above freezing, it's not going to melt. Nicholas, our snow rate per hour, I mean, it's not going to be anything significant unless we get a heavier snow band. You get your heavier snow bands, you get up to 1 inch per hour, but we're not seeing any of that right now. Yes, Victoria. Yes, this is just the beginning of this storm. I see a lot of people talking smack already about, hey, this storm ain't nothing. Guys, we've been talking about this for a week. It's going to be a 2-day storm. We're maybe 1/4 of the way in. You know, we've got all of tonight. We've got all of tomorrow into tomorrow night. We've got 36 more hours of this storm. At least 36 more hours. Now, Selena, I don't think the warm air is going to stay to the south. I don't think there's. I think it's coming one way or the other. I don't think it stays more to the south. Yes, Kathy, I would say a half inch of ice for Summersville is a good bet, if not more. Bowling Green Joyce, I think half an inch of ice for Bowling Green is a good bet, potentially up to 3/4 of an inch. Yes, Corey, I'm pumped for the Seahawks tomorrow. I actually meant to change shirts. Typically, I don't wear t-shirts. I wear polos and stuff, but I was in a little bit of a hurry. So yes, I'm a Seahawks fan. If you guys didn't know that. Springfield Tina, a little bit less for Springfield, but probably around a quarter inch or less probably. Tori, Russell Springs could be in the ground zero. I think there's a realistic chance Russell County, Russell Springs gets up to 3/4 of an inch. Leah, yes, that's 100% a possibility. There could be several more snow chances over the next 2 weeks to add to this. This could be a very busy next 2 weeks. I'm not going to talk about anything in the future. There's a couple areas of interest. There's one midweek. There's one next weekend that could add additional snowfall, but we're not going to talk about any of that until we get through this storm. I'm going to switch back to the snow amounts here real quick. Here's your snow amounts. This is the updated snowfall map from the National Weather Service. Again, this is total snow and sleet accumulation. Adair County for ice amounts, I think Adair County is probably going to be getting pretty close to 3/4 of an inch. John, Taylor County, I think there's a pretty good chance of a half inch of ice for sure, potentially more. Anything over a quarter inch, let me throw my little graphic up here. Yeah, anything over a quarter inch of ice, numerous power outages. So when you get into the half an inch of ice, which is right over here on the right hand side, widespread power outages. Widespread power outages. If you get anything over a half inch of ice, the more ice you add, the worse it is. So, all right, folks, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to get some more stuff together for the next live, 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern. I want to get a few things squared away here real quick, so I want to spend a little bit of time getting that ready. So I will see you guys in about an hour and 20 minutes. I will not be late to all the to all the people in the comment section. So